Excuse me, ma'am, a doubt. Ma'am, do we need to write the address of the person to whom we are sending the letter to, or do we need to write our own address at the beginning of the letter? That's not confusing. Ma'am, comma after the address. Okay, right.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Vidhi and you are watching Let's Learn with Let's Lead. Welcome back to my channel, and my present video focuses on the 6 tips for writing an effectual and impressive letter in your examinations. And I'm very sure that moment you master these 6 tips, you are going to get full marks in your letter in your examinations. Well, what are we waiting for then? Let's get started. So, my 6 tips would be based on the entire letter writing. However, I have framed a question for you through which we would be learning, and our learning would become easier. You are Suraj or Mehak studying in XYZ school, New Delhi. The road leading to your school is very congested and full of potholes. Students and parents are often caught in traffic jam. In spite of several representations, the government has not done anything to improve the condition of the road. Write a letter to the editor of the Times of India, drawing the attention of the government to his problems. Well, the first tip which I'm going to mention here is just think about the purpose. What is the purpose of writing the letter? Let's identify in this particular question, what is the purpose of writing the letter? Well, the purpose would always be after the question has mentioned write a letter to the editor. So the purpose is drawing the attention of the government to these problems. Well, our purpose is defined. So, whenever you write the subject in your letter, it should come out from here, directly from the purpose. So, your first tip is to identify the purpose and mark it in your examinations and write the subject based on the purpose of the letter. That's my first tip. Moving on to the second tip. The second tip is to identify to whom the letter has been addressed to. To whom the letter has to be addressed. Well, in this particular question, it has to be addressed to the editor of the Times of India. So this becomes your addressee's address, which has to be written after the sender's address. And one more tip here. No commas, no punctuations. The entire letter will go on with open punctuations. After we have identified to whom the letter has been addressed and we have written it there in a very nice and a complete format, then comes the next tip. Well, the third tip is all about the tone of your letter, and it's my personal favorite. What do you understand by the word tone, the tone of the letter? The tone of the letter is the choice of words or phrases you put into your letter depending on the type of the letter. Well, whether the letter is a formal, informal or a semi-formal letter, your tone would depend on the type of the letter. If it is an informal letter, can we write OMG, LOL, because these are informal words? Well, not at all. A strict no to this. It doesn't mean that you can write the informal conversational words in your letter. However, it means choosing the phrases which are informal or semi-formal, or like this, a formal letter. So be very specific with the tone of your letter. So that's my third tip. Moving ahead to my fourth tip, that's the completeness of the message. So your message should be complete. You should not leave even a single message to be addressed. For example, in this particular letter, I could see the first message. The road leading to your school is very congested and full of potholes. The second message here is students and parents are often caught in traffic jam. And the third message is that several representations have been put forward too. However, the government has not taken any action to improve the conditions. So that becomes your message 4. So, completeness of message would depend on identifying the number of messages already given in the question and addressing each part in the letter in the body of the letter, which has already been explained in my video 1 when I talked about the format of the letter, and comprising of 3 paragraphs. So put your messages, dividing them into 3 different paragraphs by logical reasoning and thinking. Yes, so that's my tip number 4. Moving on to the next tip. Tip number 5, action. Identify what action has to be taken from the question when writing the letter. Yes, the action. And here you have to write what action should the government take to combat this particular problem. Do not forget to make a separate paragraph for writing the action. Yes, that's my tip number 5. And the last but not the least is tip number 6, grammatical range and accuracy. Range and accuracy. How accurate have you written your grammatical sentences? Whether or not you have checked for your punctuation marks, your tenses, your verb forms, your homophones. Yes, do not forget to check for your grammatical range and accuracy before you hand over your answer sheet to the examiner. And I'm sure, moment you hand it over the answer sheet by following these 6 steps, you are going to score the maximum marks. Well, stay tuned for my next video of letter writing on the types of the letters.